All right, so we're going to talk about eyelash extensions themselves and what are they made of. So in your kit, you have your trays of eyelash extensions, and on them they have the stickers that are saying what their size is, what their curl is, and what their length is. So the stickers that you have on your extension tray will read something like this, okay? That'll be one sticker. The other sticker will tell you which curl. So you're going to have a C or a D curl, and then it's also going to tell you the length. So these are mixed trays that are in your kit. So you have mixed lengths that are inside of your kit. All eyelash extensions themselves are made of an ingredient called PBT. And PBT is a synthetic ingredient and a synthetic product. And what it does is it ensures that your eyelash extensions are going to maintain the black color that they have. They're going to maintain the curl and the taper, and they're going to come in a somewhat consistent length. So depending on which brand of extension you're using, that's going to determine the consistency of the length. So between brands and between manufacturers, lengths can vary. So what some manufacturers put forward as a 9mm extension will be different within other brands. So once you have a brand of lash extension that you're using, it is really important to stick with that same brand so that you're having consistency within your extensions and your services. So when I talk about, let's talk about the diameter first, okay? So lash extensions come in so many different sizes. You can get diameters that are 0.03, 0.05, 0.07, you can have 0.15, and you can have 0.2, and it can get higher as well. So these are all the different sizes of extensions, and there's also some in between. These two sizes here you'll be using for mega volume. This will be 0.07 you'll be using for volume. Sometimes you can get 0.10s. 0.15 and 0.20, these are for classic. So for the case of this course and this training, these are the two sizes of lash extensions that we're talking about. So what these numbers mean is if you were looking at the extension and you were looking at it from, so this is the extension here. If you were looking at it from this angle, so you're looking at it from the bottom up, you're looking at the cross section of the extension. So let's pretend that this is the bottom here, okay? So this circle here is the very bottom and you're looking at this head on. These measurements are measurements of the diameter of the bottom of the extension. So the lashes in your kit, that means that these are 0.15 millimeters across in diameter. That's how wide they are. Okay, and again, if you were using a 0.07, you can imagine how small these lash extensions are. This diameter here would be 0.07 millimeters wide. Likewise, 0.05, 0.03. So when we're talking about sizes of extensions, that's what we're referring to. We're referring to the diameter of the actual extension itself. We talked a little bit, or we're going to talk a little bit about what lashes are safe to hold which weights and which sizes of extensions. I will tell you right now, 90% of natural lashes cannot hold anything bigger than a 0.15, which is why that's what's included in your kit. Very rarely you can come across clients who have super strong lashes. Typically these clients are going to be really, really young, really healthy people with really thick hair. They can hold a 0.20. Problem is if you put on lashes that are too heavy, so 0.20, and they don't work for the natural lash, and they're too big, they're going to pull on the natural lash and they'll cause breakage and they'll cause damage. So we're going to stick with 0.15, okay? When you take your volume course with us, we go into the theory behind what sizes of fans you can build using 0.07s and using 0.05s and 0.03s. So that's a whole other training, and that's included in the volume portion or the design portion of your volume training when you take it with us. So going back to this, so we've talked about the size of your extension in the tray that you have. That's the diameter. The curl is referring, or the letter here is referring to the curl. So I have included a diagram, and there's so many different types of curls that you can use. For the purpose of this training, we're going to use C's and D's. To be honest, that's what I use in most of my sets. So I recommend keeping inventory of those. And then again, the length. So the length is here for this thing, for the purpose of the lashes in your kit, we're using mixed trays, but the length is measuring from the tip of the extension all the way down to the base. So when I say a 9mm extension, what I'm meaning is it's 9mm from the very tip to the base of the extension, okay? It could be a 10mm, it could be 13. Typically, lengths of eyelash extensions run anywhere from 7mm all the way up to 15mm. When I talk about the taper of the extension, what I'm referring to is the tip here. So the taper means that all lash extensions, in order to give them a more natural looking effect, what they do is they start off thicker at the bottom and then they taper down into a pointed end. So this is why too, sometimes you'll have clients who want to trim their lashes or people who will talk about cutting their extensions. You will not get the desired effect because it will just cut them off and they will be completely blunt and you'll lose that tapered effect. So that's why we can't do that. Within the industry, you're gonna hear so many different names. So you're gonna hear names like, you're gonna hear mink, you're gonna hear silk, you're gonna hear cashmere pro, which is what ours is called. The thing about these names is that back in the day, they did used to mean something. So if somebody referred to a synthetic extension, which was called, let's just say a synthetic mink, it would mean that it had a specific type of taper and it had a more matte black finish than a glossy finish. And then a synthetic silk had a different type of taper and it had a different type of finish. So there used to be trends within the industry where there was consistencies among the names of using synthetic silk or synthetic mink or cashmere pro or whatnot. But the way that the industry has changed now is that basically it's a marketing name that people have chosen for their brand of lashes. So when you're referring to certain names, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to give you a specific taper or it's going to be a matte or a gloss finish. It's really just what the manufacturer or the retailer wanted to call that specific type of lash. So again, it's important to just do your homework to figure out what you're looking for. Some lashes are going to have a more matte finish, some are going to have a more glossy, some will have a more dramatic taper, which means that this taper part here, it'll get thinner, and then some, if you want more drama in the extension, they will stay wider longer and then come to the point later. So again, it's just a personal preference and it's what you like. For the Cashmere Pro lashes that we use, we love them because they're really flexible. It's got a nice dramatic taper at the end. They hold their color and their curl exceptionally well. Even though all eyelash extensions are made of PBT, no matter what their industry name is called, like we talked about in a lot of our other ingredients, it comes down to quality. So again, using that denim jean example, you know, all jeans that you buy, they're made of denim, but when it comes to quality, it's the quality of the actual ingredients used to make the denim, which determines the actual price point and the quality of the jeans that you're buying, right? So you can get jeans for 20 bucks, you can get jeans for 350. They're all made of denim, but it comes down to the quality ingredients that went into it. It's the exact same with eyelash extensions. So making sure that you're using a reputable brand and from a good company and a company that you trust is really important when you're choosing your product, because they may not all hold the color or the curl as well if they're not a high quality product. So this is basically the information that you need to know about eyelash extensions themselves and what they're made of. Just remember that if you have a client who calls you, you'll get clients who call you and they'll ask you about mink lashes, okay? I just want to say a little side note here. This is something that's it's very important to me to teach people this. A long time ago in the lash industry, there was a demand for the use of mink lashes. So people were using real fur taken from mink to and they were making eyelash extensions out of them, and they were doing full mink sets. There's a few different problems with this. The first thing is, if you're using a real animal hair, you cannot control what that animal hair is going to do in different environments. So if you think about your mom, your sister, your aunt, and yourself, if you guys all go to Mexico and you step off the plane in that humidity, your mom's hair might go super curly, your hair might go super flat, your sister's might go super frizzy, and somebody else's might just, I don't know, right? It might just do something totally different. every single natural hair reacts different in different environments. So when people were using real mink hair as a lash extension, you were losing the consistency that you get from using a synthetic product, because the synthetic product will react the same no matter what the environment, and it will hold the curl and it won't go curlier. So that's one major reason that we don't use real mink anymore in the industry. Second reason is trends have changed. So 7+ years ago, when lash extensions first entered into the world, everybody was looking for more of a natural style of extension. So think of like Jennifer Aniston or like beauties of those time. It was really, people were looking for a more natural type of look. We are now living in a Kardashian world where what we call natural is completely different. So with using real mink extensions, people were able to get a set of lashes on somebody where you actually didn't even know if it was their real hair or it wasn't, because those lashes were so fine and so soft. Nowadays, there's really not a much of a demand for extensions like that, because the idea of what we deem natural has really evolved into something that is a lot more dramatic than what it used to be. The third point that's really close to my heart that I want to make about mink extensions is that they're really cruel. I really truly don't believe in ever harming animals for the purpose of vanity. Whether it's makeup, whether it's skincare, whether it's eyelash extensions, there's absolutely no need to be killing animals to be making ourselves more beautiful. And so that is for sure the number one reason why I never ever support the industry using real mink hair in extensions. And I really just don't think that there's any sort of need for it in our industry when there's so many other amazing options. So those are my 3 reasons about why we don't use mink hair in our process. That being said, when a client calls you and they say, hey, I was just wondering, do you use mink or do you use silk? What you can say to them is, all lash extensions are made of the same synthetic product. So what I can tell you is that the lashes that I use are called Cashmere Pro. They are consistent, they have a nice gloss finish, and they will hold their curl for you and give you the drama that you're looking for. And usually that's enough information to give them so that they can understand. A lot of people, they don't know that, I mean, we're just learning this too in the industry, that there's not a lot of consistency between faux silk, faux mink, or anything like that. So the names don't mean a whole lot. So just making sure that you're educated so that you can educate your clients and let them know that you're using the highest quality product and that it's a product that's going to give you the best results. That's what they want to hear, and that's what's important. So I'm going to include a bit more of a write-up underneath this video, and so I want you to read it and to really familiarize yourself with the wording, with the ingredients, so that you know how to educate your clients on the products that you're using. As a professional, using these terms and understanding this is really, really important.